ninth round pick out of the Citadel in 1981, Stump carved out a successful NFL career with the Cardinals.
He's strong. He can move. He was agile. He can make guys miss. He had it all. He had everything in his game.
In Cardinals franchise history, only Larry Fitzgerald has more all-purpose yards.
He did it all, man.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Running Back University, a Stump Talk podcast. And we always like to start the show by acknowledging, recognizing, and thanking the T County Browns backers for their support. We also want you to keep in mind this Sunday, this upcoming Sunday at Shenanigans in Dover, Ohio. We've got the Browns versus Detroit Lions watch party. Hanford Dixon, you'll have an opportunity to win an autographed exclusive t-shirt from him, along with Felix, Hanford, Frank Stams, and Christian Kriske. There's going to be a 50-50 raffle. So again, Shenanigans in Dover, Ohio. You definitely want to get on down and have that experience with them. We talk a lot about football, and we talk about athletes. We talk about how much money they make. But sometimes I think we lose sight of the fact that these are real human beings. And today we learned that the former Cincinnati Bengals running back, Rudy Johnson, passed away. So before we move forward, we just want to have a moment of silence to recognize him, and prayers for his family as well. Okay. That said, may he rest in peace. We're going to move forward. This week's very special guest is Marcus Dupree, former NFL running back with the LA Rams and also USFL New Orleans Breakers. Coach Stump, I want to hand this off to you to bring him on, and let's start this conversation.
Marcus, we would definitely love to have you. We love having you on the show tonight. We want to talk a little bit about the Browns situation with their running backs, and also anything else you would want to speak on.
Okay, we may be having some technical difficulty. So while our producers work that out, Coach, let's jump into it. First, praise the good Lord. The Browns figured it out and got a win a couple of days ago on Sunday. What were your initial thoughts about the way that game ended?
Well, they've been playing defense in all three games, even though the second game ended up being a blowout to the Ravens. It was a game in which they could have won early on. The defense was on the field entirely too much of that Ravens game, so in the end they were worn down, but they came back and they were ready to play against the Packers.
Yes. Can we figure out a way to get him plugged in with us, or are we going to stick with the Browns game? Okay, very good. Yeah, Coach, and to that end, it's so fascinating to me that it came down to the defense for consecutive weeks and the special teams. I want to go back to something you touched on last week. You talked about Joe Flacco being a stretch passer. What do you see as the encumbrances, if you will, of him getting the ball into his receiver's hands?
Well, I don't think they're really calling the game the way Kevin called it when he had Joe 2 years ago. The ball was thrown down the field. Amari Cooper had the most yards he had ever had in a single season. David had a lot of yards as well. Uh, and it's just not that type of offense right now. I think it's Jerry Judy had a heck of a year, the most yards he ever had last year with the Browns. They stretched the field, and they're not doing that in the passing game right now.
Yeah, it's so curious that you say that because of the 21 targets that I saw, half of them went to the tight ends. David Njoku averaged 8 yards. He had 5 catches, 40 yards. He averaged 8 yards a catch, followed by Cedric Tillman, 3 for 26. Then Harold Fannin Jr. at 3 catches for 25. What is, without knowing what's in Coach Stefanski's mind, why do you think he is calling the plays so differently this season for Flacco?
I have no idea. I don't know if Kevin is actually putting the game plan together, or he's allowing someone else to do it. I don't know if it's a situation where they're co-working on the game plan. I know Chad O'Shea. This is totally different from what he was accustomed to during AVP's time.
Mhm.
The passing game, they stretched the field, was able to get much more from the passing game than they're getting right now. It's totally different from Joe's first time around. And I don't know if that's because they have a new offensive coordinator, and he wasn't with those guys. He was with a quarterback that was mainly at Alabama, that was did throw the ball, but he was mainly a running guy.
Yeah, speaking of the run, I mean, the fodder up here, Quinshawn Judkins is the reason for the season. 18 carries for 94 yards. He averaged 5.2 yards a carry. I didn't see Jerome Ford, and maybe I missed it, but in terms of coaching, what is it that gives coaches confidence in their running backs? And what's the difference between a Judkins, and I know it's early, Coach Stump, but what do you feel the difference is between the Judkins and a Ford and a Sampson?
The difference is who they believe in, who they show love to. I mean, it doesn't matter how hard you work. For whatever reason, they find they they reasoning for going with a particular guy, and it may not be the guy that works his butt off all the time. It may not be the guy that has done just as much. Jerome averaged 5.44 yards last year in the NFL. Okay, Junkins averaged 5.5 yards last year at Ohio State. When Jerome came out of Cincinnati in 2021, he had 214 carries for 1,319 yards and a 6.2 average and 19 touchdowns. Okay, Junkins came out this year. Junkin had 1,060 yards this past year, 19 touchdowns, 5.5 average, and 14 touchdowns this year. But Jerome had better stats his senior year at Cincinnati than Junkins had this year at Ohio State. And they both averaged about 5.5 yards a carry this past year.
Yeah, Russ, can we even send him a message so he can jump in on this? If he's had this experience, it would be great to get his perspective on what Coach Stump just said. Okay. It's so curious that you say that because, and this is another question for you, Coach. Based on your time with the Browns, was the philosophy more about establishing the run first to open up the pass game, vice versa, or a hybrid? Can you speak to that?
Now, Kevin ran the ball more his first year than he ever did. And I think that was simply because he was coming from Minnesota, where he had a head coach that was a defensive guy that really told him they needed to run the ball. So he was kind of, in my opinion, still hearing his voice, even though he was the head coach of the Browns. After that, it was tough to the following years. It was tough to be consistent running the football. Didn't do it a whole heck of a lot. There was times where we went in at halftime and Nick only had 6, maybe 8 carries at the most. and probably ended the game with maybe 16, 18 carries. Nick never averaged 20 carries a season during his time there with Kevin.
It's so fascinating. Like what would change that if you're having success, right? Running the ball. What are the things that would cause a coach to do a 180?
He just analytics for one thing. Analytics
Mhm.
during my time when I was there, I haven't been there for 2 years. Said if you didn't average 6 yards a carry, then there was no need in running the ball, which is totally bullcrap because it
Yeah.
only takes 10 yards to get a first down. And if you average 6 yards on 2 carries, that's 12 yards. But if you average 4 yards on 3 carries, that's 12 yards. That's a first down as well. So it makes no sense.
Yeah, yeah. Analytics is real. I mean, we're at the advent, this age of AI, and my question for you as well is based on the little bit that we have seen of Quinshawn Judkins in the last 2 weeks, Coach Stump, can Kevin Stefanski continue to call the plays the way he is? Can he just defy logic, in my view, and stick with the kind of plays that he's calling?
No, I think he's gonna pass the ball, but he needs to change it to more of a vertical
Mm-hmm.
passing game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jerry Judy last year had over 1,000 yards, and now he's barely being targeted. Most
Mm-hmm.
of the number one receivers on teams are getting 12 to 16 targets a game. Number one guys.
Yeah, Jerry Judy had just that one catch for 17 yards. And I want to go back to the passer. I'm looking at Flacco's game logs for the first 3 games. And even if you look at his average yards, per throw, he was somewhere around 6.4 week 1. Now he's down to 2.9 based on Sunday's game. What are your observations about that and the potential that the Browns may change the quarterback?
Well, it's not the quarterback. First of all, if he's only averaging those few yards an attempt,
Hmm.
they knew they were wrong because they didn't draft any offensive linemen. And they knew the health or lack thereof of their offensive linemen. And now they don't feel as though they're getting enough time for him to push the ball downfield. So that's a problem with pass protection. But you know you needed offensive linemen, but yet you draft 2 running backs when you already had running backs, or you could get a running back later in the draft as opposed to getting an offensive tackle.
Yeah, we Browns Nation got the news today that DeJuan Jones looks like he's lost for the season. You talk about offensive line play. Who do you see can potentially fill the void that DeJuan Jones is going to leave, and then we still have some other issues with our, I call them the power three, our center and our guards. What is the outlook from your perspective on the offensive line, coach?
Well, I don't know who they have as backups. This will be Dewan's second year going out and missing a major number of games for the Browns. Uh, there again, Coach Callahan wanted Tristan's worth when they drafted Jed Wills,
Hmm.
number one, and Jed is gone. So I don't know. I don't know what Andrew or how he evaluates offensive linemen, but he definitely think he knew more than Coach Callahan, which proves he didn't when you take a look at things that have been happening to the offensive linemen and the success that the ones that Coach Callahan wanted him to draft have had. Pro Bowl uh, naps since he's been in the league with Tampa.
Yeah, it's curious to me. I just, as a fan, I look and I watch the games and it just doesn't look like Joe Flacco is comfortable or confident in his protection. And I wonder how much of that is impacting just his performance on the field, or is it more like you've spoken to a few times, the types of plays that they're calling for him?
Well, I think you can protect. Yeah, there's some guys that are fantastic rushers in the league, but I think the guys that they have there at Cleveland, with the help of the running backs, can give them enough time to stretch the field. So that's Joe can hold up on his own. I know Wyatt can hold his own. Ethan can hold his own. Uh, I just think those guys, the system is totally different. I don't know if
Mhm.
that's Kevin's system anymore. And if it's not, then he should allow someone else to call the plays as opposed to waiting to something uh, negative happen.
I really appreciate that because I get concerned about the psychopathy, what I call it, of each player. And when we start doing the Texas two step, if you will, shuffling quarterbacks in and out of the game, I think about the consistency and the way the players feel with all of the change during the season. If you were the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, how would you ride with Joe Flacco, coach?
I would go back to doing what Kevin did when we had Joe Flacco in 2023. I
Mhm.
mean, we stretched the field. He was hitting David. He was hitting Amari. The ball went down the field. Jerome Ford caught his first touchdown pass that Joe threw as a Brown. Uh, big plays, downfield plays. This rinky dink type stuff, that's not the best for them. They can get a protection where it would allow them to push the ball downfield. You're not playing against the best pass rushers all every game. Yeah, there are guys that are capable, but you can protect and get guys open.
Okay. All right. Very good. And then I want to switch transition up here a little bit on the defensive side. Clearly, the Browns' defense is the reason that the Browns won the game. Yes, Joe Flacco got them in a position, for the special teams to come in and kick the game-winning field goal. Um, what are your thoughts on the rookies on the defensive side of the ball? How would you assess their play thus far?
You know what? I'll get to that after I speak on George Mallory's comment. He said that they have wide receivers dropping passes too, which is not helping. That's been the case with Deshaun Watson too. I mean, a lot of passes were dropped last year with Deshaun at quarterback, and it appears that the same thing is happening. Guys dropping balls, so that doesn't help the quarterback at all.
It's interesting. So, from a coaching perspective, how do you address that?
Well, I'm sure the wide receiver coach, Chad O'Shea, he's been there the entire time that Kevin has been there, and Andrew's been there. I know Chad works. Ain't no question about that, and he works his receivers. It's just a matter of focusing in on the ball. Uh, don't hear the defensive guys next to you, and do your job. Make the catches.
Okay, okay. Thank you, George Mallory, for those questions. I apologize, I missed that. But I want to take you back to your assessment of the Browns rookies on the D side of the ball.
Well, I think those guys are playing pretty good. I mean, they have the uh, utmost respect for Coach Schwartz, and they're working extremely hard. I mean, all those defensive guys, defensive coaches, they're putting time in, and they're trying to get the best out of them. Even though the offense isn't going, their mentality right now is that they can win in spite of not being uh, a high scoring offense. They can get turnovers. They can uh, get sack fumbles, do whatever it takes to win. They know if the score is 0-0, they don't lose, and it's going to start out 0-0.
All right, all right. We're going to transition over to Coach Stump Spotlight Running Back of the Week, Decker Haskins Smith.
Athlete running back spotlight of the week, Decker Haskins Smith out of Notre Dame Prep in Scottsdale, Arizona. How you doing, Decker?
Doing great, man. Excited to be here.
Thanks for joining us today. You are our first high school athlete, high school running back to be on our show. Want to say so. Welcome to the running back. Spotlight of the week. Can you tell everyone your name?
My name is Decker Haskins Smith.
What year are you in school?
I'm graduating class of 2027.
What's the name of your school?
Notre Dame Prep High School.
What's your jersey number?
Number 22. Or the number 2 for a very long time in Pop Warner. And then my freshman year of high school, I decided to wear number 20 because I really like Brian Dawkins. And then this year, I decided to switch it to number 22 because that is my favorite Bible verse in the Bible.
Do you know the Bible verse off the top of your head?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite football player?
My favorite football player is Brian Dawkins. I think his persona and the way he played really represents how I like to play the game.
I do know Brian Dawkins is a big faith guy. He would knock snot out somebody and say praise Jesus. I've seen a video of him, so he was a different kind of animal for sure. Position. So he will be definitely be glad to hear that. Your top 5 colleges that you like, that you just like as a fan. If you wanted to play football there, what would they be?
My top 5 colleges. I've really I've never narrowed that down, but I do like a couple colleges. I really like the University of Stanford. I like Kentucky. Of course, I love my hometown, Arizona State. So, I don't really have a lot that I really look forward to. But those are the 3.
And I want to tell everybody this kid is, again, he's in Scottsdale, Arizona, Notre Dame Prep. I want you to say something to your teammates, Decker. This is their moment.
I want to thank my teammates so much. They've always had my back through whatever I've gone through, even the injury. They've always been there for me. My line has always got my back. They always block for me, and they always show love and support. I think I got a lot of teammates out there that work real hard and that are dogs, and I think we all come together through our faith, and that's what makes us such a great team.
All right, that was running back Decker Haskins Smith. Sounds like he's got his head on straight and has a really bright future. All right, so listen, I want to do a circle back. Do we have Mr. Dupree back with us? No, Mr. Dupree, we'll have to have him back soon on the show. Coach, we've got the Detroit Lions coming up next week. When you look at that game, what do you feel the Browns could take from the victory versus the Packers and really lean into this coming week?
They can take the play of the defense and hopefully contain the Lions somehow. The Lions, they dismantled the Ravens last night, and they're not coming in feeling sorry that the Browns have issues right now. They're going to definitely come in with an attitude. They lost a lot of their coaches this past year.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them went to the Bears, and they went there and they handled the Bears pretty good. And then to be able to go to Baltimore and take care of the Ravens was just outstanding. And they're looking to continue that drive because they're working and believing in what the head coach preaches. The only ones that matters are the guys that's in that locker room. The coaches that were there that helped them to do things was great while they were there. But when they went off, to Chicago. Detroit went there and they handed them, even though no one probably knows more about Detroit than those coaches in Chicago,
Hmm.
they handed them a good butt whooping.
Yeah, that defense had what, 7 sacks? They sacked Lamar 7 times. Again, we've just got the news today that Dewan Jones is out. Like, this is a real moment for the offense, the offensive line, the quarterback, the running backs. Um, how concerned from an injury perspective are you about that?
Well, it's always difficult when you have to have a backup tackle in the game because there's not a whole lot of extra tackles to go around in the NFL. Uh, if you got 3 or 4 on your squad that can actually go in and be very competitive, you have one heck of a squad. That's a valuable uh, position, especially with the money that the teams are paying these quarterbacks to protect them. So those guys go quickly. That's another reason why I couldn't believe the Browns took 2 running backs as opposed to going out there and getting another offensive lineman, knowing people like Jack Conklin, who I love, works his butt off, can play, but
Hmm.
he's been injured a couple times, missed a couple seasons. And everybody on that offensive line, for the most part, have missed time due to injuries, but they thought it was wiser to pick 2 running backs as opposed to take an offensive line that I'm sure one of those linemen are starting somewhere in the league right now.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that, Coach. Do we have Mr. Dupree back? Did I just see him back on? Okay, all right. Yeah, and then on the other side, like I think Montgomery had about 150 rush yards. I'm not really worried about the defense, right? What my takeaway just as a fan last night was the time of possession may be tilted towards the victor, but then we had Derrick Henry and even with that, coach, for me, the single question is, can the offensive line protect Joe Flacco? Can they protect him?
I they're going to have their problems. It's no question about it. Uh, Detroit got guys that can rush the passer. They got guys that can cover. In the passing game right now has been minimal, dismal, really, for the Browns. Not really stretching the field. It's going to be tough.
All right, and this is a perfect segue. I want to give a shout out to the Gridiron Insight, who's listening from Mississippi. And now, without further ado, we have another Mississippian that's joining us, Marcus Dupree. How are you doing, sir?
I am blessed and glad to wake up this morning.
Right on,
Absolutely.
right on. So you've probably heard some of the talking points that Coach Stump and I covered. I mean,
No,
based
I
on
did not. I
oh,
wasn't
you did
on.
not.
I did
Okay,
Yeah,
not.
we could hear him, Sapphire, but he couldn't hear us.
got you. So first, share with everyone what you have going on right now.
Wow, he went offline.
Oh wow, okay.
I don't know what happened.
All right, so we lost him, or is he trying to? There he is.
I don't know. It keeps timing out for some reason.
No worries. Share with everyone what you have going on right now, sir.
Right now, we're working on some camps called with the Hall of Fame. We're calling it the Hall of Fame Academy, and we're setting up different locations across the country: Austin, Oklahoma, Mississippi, Detroit, Buffalo, Atlanta, Orlando, and also we're going to have girls flag football camp too. So we're looking forward to doing that. So
Nice. In those same areas
definitely
of
in
the
the same
country?
areas. And we're going to do it just a little bit different than what other camps do. We're going to bring the kids and the parents into the classroom, teach the parents what the kids should be doing, teach the kids and the parents about eating right. You just can't keep running to McDonald's and think your kid gonna be an all-star athlete. You just can't feed him pizza. So we're gonna teach them about eating, working out, NIL. We're gonna have some guys come in and talk about financial literacy. We got all this NIL money going on, and kids are just blowing it. So they need to. They're making enough money now. Stop. I wish we was getting that money now, uh,
Absolutely.
they're getting this money, and they kind of blowing it. Then you got all these, you know, country agents out there running around trying to think they big time, and they robbing the kids. So we want to teach a little bit about everything. We're gonna spend more time in the classroom than on the field, and also when we go on the field, we're gonna also film it, and so that way the next day we can come in and teach the kids and teach the parents what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing.
Sounds like a phenomenal, holistic approach. And how can people find out more information about the Hall of Fame Academy?
Well, just go to the Hall of Fame Academy.com or go to Hall of Fame on Twitter, or X, Twitter.
Okay, one more time so that people can hear it.
Let's go to the Hall of Fame.com and then go to Twitter or X, the Hall of Fame Academy.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so with the balance of the time we have left, I wanted to get your insights on Quinshawn Judkins. He's a rookie running back with the Browns. And you're talking about your work with youth and just setting them up for the best success. He had a great running game on Sunday, about 100 yards. He's coming out of college. Now he's a professional running back, and Browns Nation is loving him right now. Share your thoughts on the ways that you would coach him in terms of making the transition from college to professional football.
Well, actually, I don't know anything about him because I don't keep up with the Browns. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I keep up with the Saints and the Rams, but just in general, you just got to approach it as a business. You got to go to work just like any other person would go to 8 to 5 and just do your job and handle it as a business. It's a game, but it's not a game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me ask you this then. We have a lot going on in Browns Nation as usual. There's questions about who the quarterback's going to be. We've got injuries on the line. In terms of a running back psychopathy, how much does that impact the way the game is approached from the perspectives that you just shared?
Well, at the end of the day, you got to run the ball. You got to start at the front. It's just like building a house. You got to start with the foundation, and you got to start with the meat and potato guys. If you ain't got no offensive line to protect your quarterback and protect your running back, you might as well call it a day.
All right, all right. Coach Stump, I want to give you some space to ask some questions.
Well, Marcus, during your time at OU, y'all ran the ball.
Yes.
When you got in the league, y'all ran the ball.
Yeah.
With the Browns, they don't know if they want to run. They don't know if they want to pass. I mean, that's the biggest problem. A running game, a guy has to be able to get in a flow. The offensive line, they have to be able to get in a flow of run blocking and not sitting back being passive all the time, pass blocking. Like you said, you don't know much about the Browns. You don't watch them. You're team other teams, but just the philosophy of running the ball. Coaches, for the most part, they showed a belief in you that you was going to get it done. And I think everything like you're saying about the camps, showing the young men and young ladies what's expected and how to practice, how to take care of their bodies. When you show somebody that you believe in them, I think they tend to be pretty successful.
Yes. Yes. It definitely. That's kind of what happened with me at Oklahoma. I didn't start to the fifth ball game, and so Coach Fisher was kind of like, I don't know, he's a freshman, blah blah blah, and I come there to play. It don't care if I was a freshman or still in high school. I was built and trained to come in there and play and do the best job I could possibly do to win, and I like winning. So I knew once they let me in the game and gave me the ball, and like I say, back then we wasn't passing the ball a lot. So today's guys are used to backing up a lot. instead of practicing more going forward and
Mhm.
hitting people. So I think I think that has a lot to do with it too. We got this pass up happy offense, uh, and same thing in college. These guys are steady backing up more than they are going forward. So that's going to affect the running game. If you're not used to going and attacking people, then I think that's going to have a big problem. That's going to cause you to have a big problem in the game.
Yeah, and I think what the Browns fail to realize is that the moves they make, the way they treat people, has a adverse effect on players. I mean,
Hey,
those guys they are around one another every day. They know who should be and shouldn't be playing,
exactly.
and it's not politics with the players.
Right.
They want to see the best guys playing. Not saying anything is wrong with the young man at all, but I know Jerome Ford, and I know he averaged 5.4 yards last year or 5.2 yards last year in the NFL. And this young man, Junkins, averaged 5.4 yards at Ohio State. Yeah, I know that's big time football, but when Jerome gets over 800 yards a carry, and now all of a sudden you want to replace a guy who was probably one of the better uh, spots on the offense, but you don't do anything for the offensive line, which was beat up and broke down last year, and now they have the same issue. That's a lack of learning from the past.
Hey, it's just like I said, it's just like building a house. If you don't put the foundation down right, sooner or later you're gonna have a crack, and the house gonna topple over. So you got to build your foundation with the meat and potato guys, the offensive line, the defensive line. I take a look at Oklahoma. Their defensive line is awesome, and that defense win championships. So once again, you got to start at the foundation and work your way up.
And Marcus, that's the thing right now. The Browns have the number one defense in the NFL, but they can't get any help or haven't thus far gotten any help from the offense.
Wow. Well, stars at the head.
Absolutely.
Stars at the head.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Marcus Dupree. We're also going to just remind people your organization, Hall of Fame Academy. You can go to halloffameacademy.com. Also, you can check out Hall of Fame Academy on X. We really
Yes.
appreciate you, appreciate your time. You're doing God's work.
Hey,
Okay.
we're just trying to do what we can do, be the best that we can do, and hey, that's all I know.
Great seeing you again, Marcus.
Same here. Look forward to the
Thanks,
camps, bro.
thanks for joining us.
No doubt.
All right. Well, Coach Stump, I want to thank you again. We'll see what the Brownies do this weekend in Detroit, as we like to say here on the North Coast. It's great seeing you. Thank you all for listening. Again, T County Browns backers, send out positive juju. We need this victory. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us.